Level 1, the candidate, Special Forces Assessment and Selection. The sand is in your lungs before it's in your boots. It's 3 at Camp Mackall. The humidity of the North Carolina pine barrens clings to your skin like a wet shroud. You are standing in a formation of 200 men, but you are entirely alone. The instructors, the cadre, move among you like sharks in shallow water. They don't scream. They don't need to. They simply watch, pencils hovering over clipboards, waiting for the moment your mind betrays your body. It starts with the STAR exam. You are handed a map and a list of coordinates. You have a 60-pound rucksack, a rubber rifle, and a canteen. You have no watch, you have no GPS, you have only the internal tickling of your own desperation. You begin to run. The rules are simple. Find the points or go home. But the rules of the system are deeper. The system wants to see if you can remain a human being while your nervous system is screaming. You see a candidate weeping silently by a creek. You don't stop. You can't. To help him is to defeat yourself. This is the first erosion of your civilian empathy. You learn that the mission is a cold, mathematical god. By the third day, your feet are a map of burst blisters and raw meat. You stop thinking about your girlfriend, your parents, or your life before the gates of Fort Bragg. Your world has shrunk to the 3 feet of trail immediately in front of your face. You eat a cold MRE in the dark, the taste of chalk and preservatives the only pleasure leaves in your existence. You realize that power here isn't about muscles, it's about the refusal to move your hand to the drop button. You see men twice your size collapse. Their spirit breaks before their bones do. You learn the first secret of the elite. The body is a suggestion. The will is the command. When you finally cross the finish line of the long walk, a 40-mile trek that breaks the last of the week, you don't feel joy. You feel hollow, vibrating silence. You have traded your innocence for a slot. You are no longer a person. You are an asset in processing. Level 2, the Green Beret, 7, Special Forces Group. The transition is subtle. You wear the long tab now. You are an A-team member, an ODA operator. But you aren't a door kicker yet. You are a teacher. You are dropped into a jungle in Honduras or a mountain range in Thailand. Your job isn't to kill, it's to convince a group of local partisans to kill for you. You live in the dirt with them. You eat what they eat. You learn
All right, listen
their
up. Grip
slang.
the rifle firmly,
You
stock the
realize
shoulder.
that your real weapon
Good. Now,
isn't
sight alignment.
your
Breathe
Scar
steady.
H
Yes,
rifle.
operator.
Practice
It's your
that.
ability
Again.
to manipulate the social fabric of a village. You carry $50,000 in crumpled local currency in a backpack. You use it to buy loyalty, information, and silence. You are a diplomat with a suppressed sidearm. The moral ambiguity begins to itch. You are training men who might be warlords in 10 years. You are giving tactical superiority to people names you can barely pronounce. Because who's a map in a basement in DC says they are the good guys for the next 6 months. You justify it. You tell yourself you are preventing a larger war by winning this small one. You spend 280 days a year away from home. When you do go back, your wife's
all right?
voice
You seem
sounds
a
like
bit
a radio
distracted
frequency you
Yeah,
can't
I'm
quite
fine.
tune in
Just
loud.
trying to get used to being
She
back.
talks about the mortgage and the neighbor's dog. You
I
think
don't
about the
understand
debt
why
you
you
owe
won't
to a
talk about
village
this.
elder
The
who
mortgage
saved
is
your
due
life
next
during
week,
a
and we still
botched
haven't covered the
exfiltration.
electricity bill. You
The
can't just
currency of your
ignore it.
life is now measured in rapport. If the locals trust you, you live. If they don't, you're a headline. You've become a professional liar for the sake of the flag. Level 3. The Ranger, 75th Ranger Regiment. The pace changes.
suppressing!
The nuance of the Green
Moving up,
Berets
on
is
me!
replaced by the
Contact
blunt
ahead,
force
pushing
trauma
through!
of the regiment.
Clearing
You
the
are the
sector!
scalpel that thinks it's a hammer. You are level 3 because now you are the primary instrument of violence. You are no longer teaching, you are executing. The direct action cycle is a meat grinder. You sleep during the day in a blackout tent on a dusty airfield in Afghanistan. You wake up at 20, you hit the gym, You check your NODs, night vision devices. You attend the briefing. At midnight, you are in the back of an MH-47 Chinook, the air smelling of hydraulic fluid and ozone. The ramp drops, and the world turns into a green-tinted nightmare. You move with a speed that defies human reactions. You breach a door with a C4 charge that thumps in your chest. You clear a room in 3 seconds. 2 shots to the chest, 1 to the head. You don't see faces anymore. You see threats and non-combatants. The rules of the system here are about precision and aggression. If you are 1 second slow, your friend dies. If you are 1 second too fast, you kill a child. The pressure is a physical weight on your neck. You finish the raid, zip tie the survivors, and fly back as the sun rises. You do this 60 nights in a row. Your identity is now entirely tied to the scroll on your arm and the men to your left and right. You disdain anyone who hasn't felt the thud of a breaching charge. You are becoming elite, but you are also becoming brittle. You are a high-performance engine being run at redline for 1,000 miles. You start to enjoy the adrenaline more than the peace. Peace feels like boredom. Boredom feels like death. Level 4. The Night Stalker, 160th Soar. You've moved from the ground to the air. You are a pilot or a crew chief in the most dangerous aviation unit on Earth. You fly on the deck 50 feet above the ground at 150 knots in total darkness. You use the terrain as a shield. Level 4 is about the mastery of technology and the acceptance of the impossible. You are the one who puts the Rangers on the roof. You are the one who pulled the SEALs out of a hot LZ while RPGs streak past your cockpit. You don't answer to standard Air Force towers. You operate in the black. The stakes have moved from individual survival to the survival of the entire mission. If you clip a power line, 30 of the nation's most expensive warriors die in a fireball. The stress doesn't make you shaky. It makes you cold. You develop a cockpit mask, a complete detachment from emotion. You watch the infrared feed as a Hellfire missile you guided vaporizes a vehicle. It looks like a video game. It feels like a video game. You realize that you are now a god of the sky. You have the power to save or destroy from miles away. But the cost is your connection to the Earth. You spend so much time in the dark, looking through phosphor tubes, that the daylight starts to feel fake. You trust the instruments more than your own eyes. You trust the unit more than your family. You are a component of a machine. Level 5. The Navy SEAL. SEAL Team 3. You are now a brand as much as a soldier. The world knows your name, or at least your archetype. But the reality is much filthier. Level 5 is about the physical and mental endurance of the extreme. You have survived BUDS, the Hell Week, where you were sprayed with cold water for 5 days straight while being mocked by men in sunglasses. The system here is built on the Brotherhood. It is a cult of performance. You are expected to be a triathlete, a master diver, a world-class marksman, and a demolitions expert. The arrogance is a survival mechanism. You believe you are better than everyone else because the training was designed to kill you and it failed. You operate in the maritime environment, the most hostile place on Earth for a human. You spend hours in sub-zero water, breathing through a rebreather that leaves no bubbles. You emerge from the surf like a ghost, but the corruption of level 5 is the ego. You start to believe the movies. You see the internal politics of the teams, the jockeying for the best deployments, the book deals being whispered about in the locker rooms, the cool guy gear that costs more than a sedan. You are an apex predator, but you are also a celebrity in a very small, violent world. You have more power than a senator in a village in Yemen, and that power begins to distort your sense of right and wrong. You do what is necessary, and necessary becomes a very broad term. Level 6, the Operator, Delta Force CAG. You've reached the unit. This is the Tier 1 level. You were recruited from the other units. You went through a selection process that makes level 1 look like a summer camp. You don't wear a uniform anymore. You grow your hair out. You wear civilian clothes. You carry a concealed Glock and a satellite phone. You are no longer a soldier. You are a ghost. You operate in cells of 4. You are given a target and a budget, and you are told to make the problem go away. You move through international airports with fake passports and covered identities. You are the shadow that the president doesn't even know the name of. The rules of the system at level 6 are about total autonomy. You have the authority to kill anyone you consider a threat to the mission, with almost zero oversight in the moment. The moral escalation is absolute. You might spend 6 months living in a safe house in a European city, tracking a financier for a terror cell. You watch him play with his kids. You know what he likes for breakfast. Then you get the go code, and you end him in a parking garage. You feel nothing. The emotional numbness is complete. You have rationalized that you are the immune system of the world. You kill the virus so the body can live. But you realize you are also a virus to the people you love. You can't tell your wife where you were. You can't tell your kids why you have scars that look like cigarette burns. You are a professional stranger. You have reached the pinnacle of status, but you have no one to share it with. Level 7. The developmental group, DevGru, SEAL Team 6. This is the peak of the pyramid. But it's a peak shrouded in a permanent storm. You are the Jedi. You are the ones who went into Abbottabad. You are the ones who jump out of planes at 30,000 feet and open your parachute at 1,000 feet. At level 7, you are no longer just an operator. You are a political instrument. Your actions have global consequences. If you fail, a presidency might end. If you succeed, a war might be averted. The pressure is so high, it becomes a constant, low-frequency hum in your ears. The currency here is access. You have access to the highest level intelligence, the most advanced weaponry, and the most secret corners of the globe. You see the world for what it really is: a series of targets and assets. People are no longer individuals. They are variables in an equation. The isolation is profound. You look at the regular special forces guys like they are children. You look at the civilian world like it's a petting zoo. You are so far removed from the normal human experience that you struggle to speak the language. You have seen things that are legally classified for the next 75 years. You have committed acts that would put you in a cage for life if they weren't sanctioned by a piece of paper in a SCIF, sensitive compartmented information facility. You are a king of a kingdom that doesn't exist on any map. Level 8, the Architect, Joint Special Operations Command, Black Ops Liaison. You don't carry a rifle anymore. You wear a suit that costs $3,000, but you still have the callus on your trigger finger and the 1,000-yard stare that no amount of scotch can blur. You sit in a room with no windows in Northern Virginia. You are the one who decides who lives and who dies across 6 continents. Level 8 is the ultimate isolation. You are the architect of the shadows. You know the black budget numbers, billions of dollars that don't appear in any public record. You manage the gray space, the operations that are too dirty for the CIA and too sensitive for the military. You see the cycle. You see the young men at level 1, full of fire and patriotism, and you know exactly how they will be broken. You know which ones will become level 3 hammers, and which ones will become level 6 ghosts. You treat them like chess pieces because you have to. If you saw them as sons, you couldn't send them into the meat-eater missions. You have ultimate power, but no freedom. You are followed by a security detail. Your phone is encrypted and monitored. You know too many secrets to ever be a private citizen again. You are the keeper of the nation's conscience, which means You have to be the one without one. You sit in your leather chair, looking at a digital map of the world, dotted with red icons representing men you've deployed. You realize that the elite status was a trap. You climb the ladder to get to the top, only to find that the top is a cold, lonely spire. You are the ghost in the machine, ensuring the machine keeps turning. You are untouchable, unacknowledged, and utterly tired. You look at the monitor. A new batch of candidates is arriving at Camp Mackall. A young man, 22 years old, steps off a bus. He's shivering in the early morning chill. He thinks he's there to serve his country. He thinks he's going to be a hero. He had no idea that he's just stepped into the first gear of a machine that will eventually consume every version of the man he used to be. He thinks he understands the game. He doesn't, but he will. The cycle turns. Subscribe to Shadow POV for more unfiltered dives into the world's hidden systems. Hit the bell, you won't see the next one coming.